And we're going to roll. Hopefully our last panelist will be able to log in okay. And so bear with me. Well, hello, everybody from literally across the globe. Gosh, I've been looking at the chat as you were all signing in, and I think we've got just about every populated continent represented. Antarctica is not in the house tonight, but I think every place else is. It's great to have you here. This is Ed Wiens. I'm coming to you tonight from our home in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And we have a very, very exceptional panel discussion to have with you tonight that I think you're going to find informative, inspirational, perhaps even motivational. Whether or not you're a seasoned network marketer, maybe you're already with our company or you're looking to see and evaluate, we appreciate you taking time to watch this live or perhaps watch the recorded version of this. Let me just kind of tee it up this way tonight. And we're going to do a lot of round robin here with our distinguished panel that I'll introduce in just a second. But, you know, several years ago, gosh, 40 years ago, there was a gospel singer who wrote a song. And the title of the song was, "It's a Wonderful Feeling When You Know You Found What You've Been Looking For." And I knew him personally, so I knew the backstory. Obviously, he was talking about his faith and how gratifying that was, but the backstory to the song was a little bit more mundane. He had been shopping for the right vehicle that was just the perfect combination of comfort for their road trips, that had the capacity to carry all of their equipment, and could just get them reliably around the different parts of the country that they traveled. And it was long before the proliferation of the SUVs that we have today, so many versions of. He found a Ford Taurus station wagon. And literally on his ride home from the dealership, it just struck him. He says, "It's just such a great feeling when you found what you've been looking for." And that's kind of where the song came from. And I say that just to say that we all on this panel tonight feel about our company, Asea, that after all this time and all these years of looking and experience, and when I say that, we're really talking about collectively nearly 300 years of experience in this industry. It's a lot of years. We're not going to zero in on each one individually, but they may make some comment about that. But after all of those years, I can tell you collectively, it's a wonderful feeling when you know you found what you've been looking for. Can I get an amen from the panelists? So we know that. So this really is an interesting group of folks you're going to hear from tonight. And if you've got your screen in gallery view, you probably got sort of a Hollywood Squares look there. I'm just going to call them out, just have them wave, and we'll kind of come back to them a little bit. Deni Robinson from Spokane, Washington, just outside of Spokane, Washington. Chuck and Tammi Gates from Helena, Montana. Most of the year, they snowbirds, so they just got back to Helena, Montana. Great to have them on tonight. Dr. David Silverman, I think, hopefully is with us. I don't have all my screen up, so I know he was having some, yeah, he's here. David, can you give a wave? Normally from Washington, D.C. I think he's still snowbirding it down in Florida. Bo and Cindy Buck from Colorado. Great to have you guys here tonight. I think they're just hardcore. They spend the whole winters. They're skiers, so they spend the whole winters there, and there's no snowbirding for them. Jerry White's in Spokane, Washington. Jerry, I know he's here. Who knows where Jerry is? He flits around the globe, but Spokane's his home. Great friend. Bart Kotter's here from Queensland, Australia. Good to have you in the house here, Bart, a longtime friend. And Mal Sword is here. Mal from Brisbane, Australia. I got to just tell you, folks, that if you're watching this tonight, that this panel represents just a whole host of experiences. And I personally know just about everybody in this panel for at least 20 years. My newest acquaintance is Mal Sword, and we're going on 5 years of working together, knowing one another. So these are people that are real people. I mean, I know their stories. They're accomplished, no question about it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here. In fact, I'll just tell you, if you looked at the combined teams that these folks have led throughout their network marketing career, we could fill several stadiums. Any sports stadium that you could find on the planet could be filled multiple times. We're not going to be flashy or in any way crass tonight about dollars and figures, but let me just tell you that our company has an award level called the $1 Million Club. We have represented here, everybody on this panel tonight is at least a member of that club. We literally have 29% of our club's members of that club, our companies, members of that club represented on this panel. There's also another tier of achievement called the $10 million Club. We have 33% of our company's $10 million Club award winners on this panel. So that's just to tell you that this is an accomplished group of folks, but you know, the flip side of that coin, that's the glory. That's the glory. But you know what? I know the story. And many of us on this panel, we came up the hard way in this industry. I love what Jim Rohn said years ago. He said, you know, if you see somebody standing on the mountaintop, you know they just didn't get dropped off there. He also said that don't ever seek for the mountain to be easier to climb, just seek to be a better climber. These folks are climbers. They've worked, they've sweat, they've paid the price. We're not in any way, when we talk about this tonight, going to convey any sort of perception that we've coasted to any kind of a success that we've had individually or collectively. These are workers. They've rolled up their sleeves. They've never asked for success to come easy, just be possible and worth the effort. And so if you're looking at all tonight, you're evaluating whether or not network marketing is for you, or if you're in the industry and you're evaluating perhaps a place to plant your flag, I hope that when we're done here tonight, that you're going to feel like we do. It's a wonderful feeling when you know you found what you've been looking for. Now, Rebecca and I have been married coming on 11 years. Second marriage for both of us. It was probably the same for some of on our panel. And, you know, we were obviously experienced adults when we kind of set out on the quest to find out who was going to be next in our life. We had children. We had raised our children. And so we kind of went about our quest at that point, perhaps a little more informed, a little bit more methodical than way back when we were teenagers. And so we developed a list. We had things on that list that these are must-haves. These have to exist in this new deal. Then we had some things that were would be nice to have. Be nice to have if they had these. They need to have these. These would be nice to have. And then we had a few things that were deal breakers. I mean, if everything else was good, but this was there, deal's off. And so, you know, I just want to kind of toss it to our panel tonight to talk about, you know, your quest. When you were looking, none of you, this is your first rodeo. So when you were looking, I'd be curious to know, and I'm probably going to be some overlap here. If you're taking notes, there's probably going to be some real repetition here. But I'd like for each of you to share with us what would be the top 3 things, let's say, that would be the absolute must-haves when you were looking where to plant your flag next in the network marketing journey. So let's just go real quick to Deni Robinson. Deni, if you could just share what the top 3, maybe even 4 must-haves were for you.
Absolutely. Great to be here with all of you tonight. For me, really to have something that was totally different, that wasn't something like, it's kind of like this or it's kind of like that. So it really had what we call a DSA, a differential sustainable advantage. This was something I couldn't go down to the store. I couldn't order it online. And so we were the only place in the world that you could actually get this product, which got me very excited as well. Also, for me, what got me excited was the corporate leadership team, their experience, and then, of course, their vision of where they really wanted to take this company. So for Tom and I, the day that we had flown down to meet with the corporate team and the founder of the company, we felt like it was Fortune 10 company meeting network marketing, which was to us like the perfect marriage of what the opportunity of this could be long-term. So that's what got us excited.
So definitely not another version of something else that's already out there in the marketplace.
No.
It's interesting that companies toss around the term category creator so casually. And I say, you know, unless you were the first antioxidant company, you didn't create the category. Mm-hmm. Unless you were the first juice company or the first CBD company, you didn't create the category. We've created a category here that is not, we're the only players in the space, which is kind of amazing.
Absolutely. It was unique. It was cutting edge. It was patented, protected, and a very high impact product, Ed. So that's what really got us excited that day.
Chuck and Tammi, same question. What were your top 3? Gotta have, these need to be present, no negotiation.
Well, we probably each have our own. Mine was that it was product driven, not money driven. We've been involved in network marketing many years, and you find out sometimes after you're already in a company, that it's really money driven rather than heartfelt or product driven. And so that was one. Two was products really get results.
Mhm.
And that even if somebody doesn't want to do it as a business, that they're compelled to share it with other people because they know it can help them. So they share from their heart. And then third was market share. You know, it's like nothing against the cosmetic network marketing companies, but I don't have any desire to actually go out and push ladies' skincare and lipsticks and things like that. However, if you really look at it, you just cut the world in half of as far as what your market potential is. And I was always looking for a company that worked on both men and women. And in this case, it works on everything on the planet Earth that has more than one cell. So it's just, and again, just like you had mentioned, it is a category creator. This is, it opened my eyes and I saw this was going to be big, and that's where you want to go, is where you know it's going to be big.
You know, Ed, I want to expand a little bit on what Deni said, because the corporate executives, I came to Asea when I first met Asea with a list of what I call non-negotiables. So this is your list of must-haves, right? They are non-negotiable. And the number one thing on my non-negotiable list was corporate executives that had experience running a large company, both in and out of the network marketing company. I didn't want to find a company that had some large top earner from another network marketing company try and start his own startup company. I needed corporate executives that knew what they were doing. And then to Deni's point also about the product, you know, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and you know, going out on a limb means taking some risk, but I'm watching those CBD companies, network marketing companies, very, very carefully, because you can find them anywhere. You can buy CBD at CVS Pharmacy, at your grocery store, at Costco. And like Deni said, we needed a product that was unique, that you couldn't get anywhere else unless you got it from us.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I jokingly say sometimes, gosh, I'm way ahead of my time, and I was researching CBD 50 years ago as a surfer. Yeah, but anyway, that's another whole conversation. But yeah, you're right. This is having something that's unique that you can't get, again, another version of anything else that's out there. And maybe we'll get a chance to drill down a little bit more on the corporate strength that you've just kind of touched on briefly. So Dr. David Silverman, you've lent a great voice of credibility, of course, to the Asea field with your background. But yeah, what were you looking for? What were your top three things?
Wasn't looking for anything, Ed. When this was brought to me, I had been burned out on network marketing because I had seen, you know, they say the good, the bad, and the ugly. I had seen what I thought was the good. It turned out it was a facade. I saw a lot of bad and ugly. And I'm pretty loyal. I stayed with the last company for 15 years, but I didn't talk about the opportunity anymore. I had a good product. But I came to this because my dad was ill, and that was my initial reason. I had no interest in the business. I had been burned. I just said, no, it's not a good industry. I've been in it long enough. Good people in the building, but the companies just weren't run well or greed run. That's what I had found. That was my experience after 15, 16 years in the business, but in the industry. But it did allow me to sell my practice, network marketing, and retire very early, doing what I loved, which was helping people, but the company let me down. So everything you heard Deni and Chuck and Tammi say, I agree with. I looked at the business about a year later. I was gun shy. I was scared. I had been burned. But I had heard all these things that you're hearing from other people. I'd already seen the product work. So product work, category creator, breakthrough for humanity. This is not some product. CBD is great. They're great nutritional products. This is a breakthrough for humanity. That's how huge. And I saw that happen before I even looked at the business side of it. And it's unique. It's patented. You can validate its validity in minutes, literally minutes, which gives us a great advantage. But what I wanted more than anything I wanted a great product. I wanted exclusivity, and I wanted what several people already said here. I wanted integrity in the company. I got to the top of another company. I got there. I was shocked by what I saw and thought, I led people into this. People followed me based on what I was saying. So I wanted to go in eyes wide open, and I went to meet the founders and executive team. And when two of them were crying, and they told me why they didn't sell it to a pharmaceutical company and could have walked away with 8 figures. And I spent enough time with them, I realized that everything people had told me about this company was true. And I wish I had looked at it earlier, but things happen for a reason. So the product works, exclusive, integrity. That was the most important thing for me.
Yeah. You know, let me go back for a second, because I really was remiss in not just mentioning some of the achievement levels. You know, Deni, who spoke, is a presidential diamond with this company, been with him 10 years. Chuck and Tammi are double ambassador diamonds, 10 years of history with this company. David's a triple diamond ambassador, huge accomplishments. You've been with the company now, is it just 10 years as well, David, or 9 plus?
Yeah, I started the end of 11 part-time, did it 3.5 years part-time.
All right, okay. All right, Bo and Cindy Buck, let's hear from you guys. Colorado, you've been with the company how long?
10 years next month.
Yep. 8 years, 8 years,
10.
triple diamonds, Colorado. Oh, 10 years, I'm sorry, 10 years. All right. Yeah, what's your top 3 gotta have them things?
We were looking, number one, like David, we had seen, you know, the ugly, and we were very defensive and very scared about putting our time and energy into another company that didn't have integrity. So our number one thing on the list was, I mean, you can have the best product on the planet, but if it's in the hands of the wrong people, you're in big trouble. So we were looking for corporate leadership. And when we met the people that were running Asea, we were absolutely blown away. We knew that the founders of Asea had never done a network marketing company before, but the research that they had done on network marketing blew us away. We had been in the industry 12 years at that point. We didn't know what these people knew. I mean, when Vertus Norton, you know, thinks about a problem, he's a puzzler. He figures it out. We were blown away by the science, by the business acumen of these people, and mostly the heart, but mostly the integrity. They were here to make a difference. They were not here to make a quick buck. They weren't here to just make millionaires. If they were, they would have taken the check from the pharmaceutical company. They were here to leave a legacy. They were here to make a difference. When they turned the check down from the pharmaceutical company, a seed was planted of culture that this company has, and then like attracts like. So I would say the number one thing on our list was strong, ethical corporate leadership. And number 2, for me at least, was, like these guys have mentioned, a unique product. But the fact that it was consumable was key, because we had come from a durable goods company, and that was basically a job selling wellness products. This was different because this was really creating residual income through the consumable product. So that was key. And I guess the third thing that was really something attractive to us, it was pre-momentum timing. So it wasn't a company that had been around for 1 million years. It was a brand new science in the hands of incredibly capable people from a business standpoint. It was unique, nobody else had it, and it was pre-momentum timing. So those 3 things were teed up an incredible opportunity.
Yeah, I don't have 3 totally separate ones, Ed, but thanks for having us on here. And when we talk about consumable products and it being unique, we're not, you guys know this, but we're not talking about a different kind of shampoo or a different kind of soap or lotion or something like that. We're talking about something that's totally unique and has an impact on mankind. And that was part of, I mean, it became our must-have. We didn't know we were looking for it until we found it. And we were like, oh my gosh, here it is. It's laid out in front of us. And the leadership in the field, the fact that it was a cooperative leadership team who had already put together kind of a duplicatable system. the A-lift process that we talk about on the charge up call every morning. But also, when we were in our old company, most of our old company was all about passing out, VHS tapes. I think we had just run into CDs, right? Something like that. And all of a sudden, bam, go on the internet, check out this video, and bam, there it was. And it was duplicatable, and everybody was using the same thing. And I think that's really important. When people know what to do, see it there, and say, hey, when you come on board, you can use this exact same system. It's here for you. And that was really exciting for us.
Some people would kind of run the other direction because it was a new company. Sometimes, in fact, that was my response, quite honestly. I heard about it, and I've been around the industry long enough to know that most new companies don't have their second birthday, certainly not their fifth. And so, I'm ashamed to say that I sat on the sidelines for a while just because I didn't trust the longevity of it. But I hadn't met the founders and looked them in the eye and heard the stories like you guys had.
Ed, that was one of the big things with our last company. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying one of the big things with our last company is they were selling about how it was 35 years old, and therefore it wasn't one of these new companies that was going to go out of business. But you know what? It had already gone. But when we got involved, we didn't know it, but the company had already gone through momentum. Yeah. And the whole time we were fighting to get up to the top of the mountain, fighting to get up the hill. And we found out that the sand was wearing away.
Yeah.
And we were not able to keep up.
Yeah.
And that's not our situation here, to say the least.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's swing across the pond real quick. Let's bring up Bart Kotter. Bart, gosh, you're a pro. You know what? Bart's got background. He worked with with small businesses all across the country. That was sort of his professional niche with the chambers of commerce, and so he understands small business. But Bart, we've just been good buddies for a long time, so we've kind of heard each other's story. But I'd love for you just to share from your perspective as an astute young businessman. But why and you had some great success before in the industry. So what were your top three convincers here?
Yeah, actually, Ed, I'm really glad that you came up with this. This is the most exciting topic that I really enjoy talking about. And it may seem a little redundant, but for me, the first and foremost, you got to have the right product, because I wanted something that was exciting. It was something that was unique, something that was easy to talk about, something that was really easy to share with other people, something that just you've got to tell people about. And I thought that was so cool when I actually got it, when I finally realized what this was. It's interesting timing. So once you've got the best product, and as Tammi had mentioned, you can have the best product in the world, but unless you've got a combination of some other things that go with it, you have nothing, absolutely nothing. So first of all, you got to have a good product, but then the other things are absolutely vital. So the next three things. So I look at this structurally like the foundation of a house. If you're going to build a house, you've got to have a solid foundation. And that foundation for me is three absolutely key ingredients. And they are integrity, the stability, and the timing. And what I mean by that specifically is when you're looking at the integrity of the people who you're actually in business with, who you're associating yourself with, because if you don't have the right people, there's absolutely no reason to be involved at all. We've seen companies come and go. Previous company that I was involved with started out beautiful, great ethos, but when that company lost their soul, is the way I look at it, customer service and quality control just went in the toilet. And it doesn't matter how much money you're making, because if you don't feel good about sharing it with other people, if the same opportunity isn't there, and I'm seeing some heads nod, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you've been in this profession before and the company just didn't do the right thing by the associates, I tell you, that's no fun at all. You want to make sure that it feels good, and it's got to be something good for you and everybody that you share it with. So the integrity is first and foremost for me of who I'm going to be in business with. One of the things, and when I went to the company, was they did a presentation, Tyler Norton did, about putting principles above ego and economic motivations. And that was so amazing to me, because here they were basically prospecting, recruiting us. Ed, you were in that same presentation with us. And I thought, wow, they're almost kind of taking this away from us, because I remember them saying, hey, we may not be the right model for you. This is who we are. Maybe it's a fit, maybe it's a not. But I just thought that was so impressive that these people really put principles first and foremost. In terms of the stability, the thing I absolutely love is that the company is rock solid. Deni, you talked about that as well. Vertus Norton's background, his stability. They own their own patents. They own their own manufacturing facility. We don't have to worry about someone else coming in undercutting us. And the other thing in terms of stability, and it goes to their integrity, is they do things right. They're not out there making claims that they shouldn't. They're really looking at the long-term vision of what they're creating. So the integrity, the stability of the company. The third thing is timing. I remember a quote that Vertus Norton said when he was presenting. In fact, it was right after Dr. Gary Samuelson spoke, and I got it. When I say I got it, it just was like, wow, this technology is amazing. Not just good, it's freaking amazing. And I started to feel goosebumps all over because I realized everybody I cared about, everybody I loved needed to know about this. And then I remember Vertus stood up and he said, and he shared his story, his background, literally with tears in his eyes because of the passion that he had about getting this to the world. And he said something that stuck out in my mind. He said, if we could really tell people what this technology was about, if people really genuinely understood what we have our hands on, he said, we would be bigger than Apple Computer overnight. He said, we got a big story to tell. And I can tell you at that meeting, having been in the profession at that time for 19 years, I got goosebumps and I was holding back the tears because it felt like I'd been lost in the desert and I had finally found my home. And I knew that this was something that I could, with a full heart, tell people about and invite them to look at not only the products, but the business. And I could care less whether they joined me in the business or not. This is something they needed to know about. And it felt good to tell people about the opportunity as well.
Yeah. Fantastic, Bart. Thank you. I know a lot more that you could share, but we'll make the rounds again in a second. Jerry White, back to Spokane, Washington. Jerry White is, another guy I've known for a long time. A real pro. Came at this really. He's a health professional, been a physical therapist, and he's probably seen really a lot of the athletic application of our product. But Jerry, I know your story. You got a fantastic story, but tell us a little bit about what was it for you that kind of solidified this decision for you?
Well, I'm a vision guy, and so I needed to see that there was a legacy vision, one that was going to last long enough to really go to work and sustain. I could see this lasting for beyond my personal comprehension. I also wanted to see, I needed to see that there was something where the people we bring to it can survive and thrive and grow. It had to still have the engine and the heart to be able to bring new people and give them the hope of the future. But ultimately, what really grabbed me was from the previous field, Deni and Trish and Alan and then the corporate, and it felt like there was this equal sharing of immense capabilities on both sides, that it wasn't about one side and the other being separate, but that together we were much more. And then finally it was when so many things, when the founders talk, it talks to my heart about things about being someone who can influence the growth, development of the people that you bring to the table. And really that's the bottom line for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great. That's fantastic, Jerry. I hope folks can go find the recording where you tell some of your story and what you guys have experienced. And, and I kind of alluded to this earlier, folks, a lot of us, and Jerry's a part of that, we're a part of that, Chuck and Tammy, came at this from a standpoint of we needed to turn, we were kind of backed in a corner. We needed a turnaround. And, I love the concept of, every sport gives its comeback player of the year award, but, we all love comeback stories, but there are no comebacks without setbacks. And many of us have had the setback, and this has become the comeback vehicle for us. And that also applies to our last panelist here, Mal Sword. I know your story, I love your story. Mal's from Australia. Listen, to me, Mal is an icon of this industry. Very, very few people have had the success and have built the organizations and have had the tenacity to get back up and do it again. And here, Jerry's an ambassador diamond, by the way. The Bucks are triple diamonds. Mal's an ambassador triple diamond. But Mal, I just got to compliment you for just having it in you to get after it again and do what you've done in this particular company. You bring such a great perspective of history and experience on this, and I love the story. So this is Mal Sword from Brisbane, Australia. Mal, what were your top 3 things you were looking for?
Well, firstly, let me say thank you, Ed, and thank you for hosting this. You're an incredible MC, so just doing an awesome job. So thank you very much for putting this together. My 3, pretty much, I was listening to Cindy Buck, and her 3 are exactly the same as my 3. Number 1 is the integrity of the owners. For me, I would say that 70% of the reason that I onboarded with Asea is because of the founder, the owner of this company, Vertus Norton, who for me is one of the most incredible human beings that I've ever met in my life. He's a man of integrity, vision, wisdom, morality, decency, competency. He's definitely somebody that I wanted to follow, wanted to be in business with. What was interesting when I first went to look at this technology back in late 2014, I had no inclination of being involved with the business. I went there simply for health reasons. So my head, when they started talking about the business, my head was saying, kind of don't listen. But my heart was saying, Mal, you need to be in business with Vertus Norton. I just felt it was the right place, the right time. He was the right person to be in business with. So above everything, you can have the best product, you can have the best technology, the best compensation plan. You can have the best of everything. But if the people that own the company are not right, are not solid, are not honorable, I wouldn't go there. There's a great old saying, isn't there, that it doesn't matter how fast you're running if you're running the wrong way. And I've watched people, for a season, I probably did that too, was running fast in the wrong direction, and it came back to bite me. So number 1 is the morality, the integrity of the owners. You want to be able to plant your flag with this family, with the Norton family. Number 2, of course, is this is a unique technology. There is nothing like this in the world. It's unique. In fact, this is the first time in history, if you look at the network marketing model, network marketing industry, this is the first time in history that transformational technology has been moved and delivered to market like this. It's never been done before. Everything else that's known as service, a soap, a cream, a juice, any other product, and I don't doubt many of them are very good, but this is the first time ever that a transformational technology has been delivered to the world by this method. We're in a unique place, unique time. I say to people, I'll never see this again in my lifetime. And, there might be some of you on the call that are in your 20s and you might see another Asea, but you may have to wait another 40 years, like a lot of the panelists have waited a long, long time to find this incredible vehicle. The third thing I think really is the timing both of the Asea opportunity, but also I want to speak to the timing of this period in history where, in my opinion, the network marketing industry will gain in numbers. I'm talking generally, not specifically to Asea, but also especially with Asea. Over the next 3 months to 3 years, we're going to see the greatest growth in numbers in this industry. As more people are forced into the looking zone, they have to look at other ways of generating income, being able to recover from this, the COVID, which in turn caused massive economic problems. But those are the 3 things. This is, if you're listening for the first time, this is an incredible opportunity, and you can really plant your flag on the integrity of the owners of the company, but also the executives. I've never had the privilege of working with a finer group of people in my entire life, and the leadership of the field with the Asea. It's just incredible position that I think we're all feeling incredibly blessed. I give thanks every morning, as I'm sure most others do on the panel. So those are my 3.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Mal. And, you mentioned field leadership, and boy, that's another plus right now, because we've got 10 years of track record now where field leaders have come along and just developed a tremendous landscape of resources for anybody that's new, that's joining us. And obviously, because we're emphasizing a little bit of longevity in the business here, none of us are in our 20s and in our 30s. And we obviously have folks in that age group, and we would certainly, like Mal said, you may see this again in your lifetime, but you may not. And all of us would love to have had this kind of a scenario exist in our 20s and 30s and to grab it then, but we're doing our best to make up for lost time. And So we don't want to do this again. I know I can speak, for sure for Mal and the rest of us that are, 60 plus. We don't want to do this again. But if there's ever anything that's worth dusting off your skill set for, reaching down for, one more push, we feel this is it. We're going to circle back around because I want to hit on something that, I've been picked up the book again recently. Just Start With Why. Simon Sinek wrote, and I just, Stephen Covey talked about it, and start with the end in mind. And there's other things we could list, folks, here. We want to kind of keep the call moving, but most of the things I had on a list on an article that I wrote recently entitled "The Company I've Always Hoped I Could Find" have been touched on here. But I think, the why part of this is a really personal thing for all of us. And I'm just going to ask the panelists again if they would just kind of help us just connect what kind of makes them tick. Why? I'm going to brag on Mal for a second, because Mal may not say this, but I know some of what motivates Mal to do what he does. He talked about his admiration for Virtus. Mal is buying parcels of land in African countries where there are just modest mud huts for some of the villagers. And he's taken teams of people over there and buying the materials, and he's tearing down those mud huts and building them what for them would be a palatial place. For us, it'd still be humble, but it's an absolute dream for these villagers to have the kind of house that Mal, with his resources and his contacts, are doing. And I just thought it was the coolest thing, Mal, to see. The last one that I saw you do, you put a sign on it called the House of Virtus Norton. And I think Virtus knows that. But what a gratifying thing for him as a decorated, accomplished executive throughout an amazing career to now have his legacy so personified by what you're doing for the poor folks in Africa. I just think it's the greatest thing. I want to, tip of the hat to you. But if we can just go back around, Deni, you're the longest tenured of any of us here because you're upline to us, but you've watched this company go from, I don't know what number we would have ranked at when we started, but the DSA ranks companies like this globally. We weren't very high. I was around when we hit across the top 100, and then into the 70s. And the last ranking we're number 44. I think we're the 44th largest company in this industry nobody's ever heard of still. But Deni, if you could just for a second, we'll kind of go around and kind of wrap it up so it's not too long. What would you identify? How does this, all of what Asea represents, how does it connect with your why and what makes you tick? Deni, what makes you keep doing this?
Well, Ed, right now I've got a grandchild in the other room. I have 7 of them. I have 4 grown children and 7 grandchildren. And to me, it's about legacy. And it's, now that I'm having grandchildren, I have this clarifying vision of what starts to happen when we pour into others and into these future generations. And now having 10 years behind us in Asea, it was the vision 10 years ago that I fell in love with. I remember when Virtus Norton grabbed my hand and said, Deni, what this will be in a few months, a few years, and many years down the road, you just can't even imagine. And back those 10 years ago, Ed, I remember, going home and talking with Tom and going, what if everything they're saying is true? What if this product really can do all of those things? What if this product, this company is going to be in all of these countries? And really what I said for Tom and I is I said, with or without Tom and Deni Robinson, this company is going to go somewhere. And I want to be a part of it. And I'm just so grateful. And even right now, Ed, to look at all of you on this screen, I shudder to think, what if I had chosen to say, oh, this company's just getting started. I don't know if this company's going to make it. I think of all of the lives that have been impacted by a little housewife like me, someone who has a PhD, a public high school diploma, and 2 years of college, who decided to open her mouth and share this gift with people. It truly, other than raising my 4 children, has been the most incredible feeling of significant contribution, being able to make a difference for people around the globe, to most who will never know my name. And really, that's what gets me excited every day now. It's it's so beyond myself. And to be part of this movement and to be sharing this with all of you and all of those that are watching, this product works and it makes a difference. And really, so Ed, that's what it is. To me, it's about legacy and contribution and making a difference.
Thank you, Deni. I think all of us are in admiration and gratitude for the voice that you're giving, even outside of Asea, just in the industry. You're literally becoming an icon in the network marketing world, and we're in your cheering section. Thank you for leading the way in that regard as well. Chuck and Tammi, what? How does this connect to your why?
Well, for a large part, Chuck and I have always enjoyed and wanted to be part of a mission with a group of people who think alike. And, you know, to Cindy's point about it doesn't matter if you have the most amazing product and the most amazing opportunity, if the integrity isn't there at the corporate level, it doesn't matter. And as well as the field leadership, if the integrity and the unification and the unity isn't there at the field leadership level, that's a broken problem too. And part of our why is that we want people who want to be leaders and contribute to Asea and be in the top leadership levels of Asea. We want to get underneath those people and work as hard as we can work to help lift other people up as well. This is not a, you know, us four and no more leadership team. We really do believe that if you want it, you can have it, and that this can be your legacy. And we want to see you guys and anyone who wants to create a Zoom like this with, you know, just encouraging the entire field about what you see in Asea too.
Yeah, I think for everybody, deep down, they need to feel it. No matter what it is, if you're punching a time clock every day and you're getting up and you're going to work, if your heart isn't in it, and if you don't feel good about it, then you do have a right to make a change. But most people don't do that. They're afraid to step out of that comfort zone and see what can they do. And the thing I guess what I so much appreciate, because of just the background of being in network marketing for so many years, is that when somebody would say, why this company? Well, first off, because it's a network marketing company too. I wasn't looking for a job. I wasn't, and God forbid if anything should ever happen to this company, which I believe, as all of us do, that the future is very bright for this company. But if something did happen, you know, I would be looking, just as all of these people that you're looking at on the screen here, because they're all professional network marketers, and they know there is a better way than busting your hump to punch a time clock and build somebody else's dreams. And so whether that be that you're just trying to supplement your income, if you're in a tight spot right now, there's an answer here for you there too. And so you don't have to look at, oh, gee, I got to do this full time to be successful. No. All you have to do is say, yes, I want to try this. And you've got so many people that are willing to help you, because nobody succeeds in this by themselves. Everybody is here. And as you've went through it, Ed, saying, you know, what their acknowledgements have been and where they've grown, none of them did it by themselves. It's all been from people helping others. So that's why.
Yeah, fantastic. And I think we're all saying to anybody that's watching this, you know, obviously the foundation's been laid here. We've been at this, you know, anywhere from 4 or 5 to 10 years, but we still feel like this company's just really getting rolling. You know, we got construction going on down the street for building a high-rise hotel, and they spend a lot of time digging out the hole in the ground before the infrastructure even comes up. And I think we've kind of got 10 years, maybe, but the first few floors now are being built here. This is not just, hey, gosh, you missed it because you didn't know this about this 10 years ago. This is amazing timing right now. We all sense that. We sense that. So yeah, timing is huge. Dr. David Silverman, how does this, you're a guy obviously who is in the health field probably for more than just the income from it. You care about people, and I know that about you, but what's your, how does this connect to your why and what your mission is?
I was born to do this. I didn't know this is what I was going to be doing. I came into network marketing when I was about 37. Sold my practice when I was 39. Made a very bad choice. Had my ladder leaning up against the wrong building. Swore I would never do it again, but I was born to do this. I'm the highest ranking doctor in the company. Most people that are at the top levels are not doctors. I think doctors sometimes use their credibility somewhat, and they don't understand network marketing. It's about keeping it simple and just sharing from the heart and duplication. And I'm grateful to a lot of the people on here, because I wouldn't be here, and I don't know if my dad would be around if it wasn't for these people saying yes to this. But I was born to do it because I went into medicine because the human body fascinates me. All the things that happen on its own. Animals too. I almost became a vet. Ended up being a foot surgeon instead. I don't know where the connection is, but I didn't want to deal with life and death, but I love the human body. I love the way it heals. I love helping people. I wanted to make money. I wanted to run my own ship. I wanted to have a good life. I had all that, but I had no time for it. So I was kind of like a caged animal after several years. Like, I want to do more than this. I'm meant to do more than this. And I love the fact that you've got a ripple effect here. I can teach anybody to do this, to help another human being with this product. So I always say, if I was going to weigh the opportunity and the breakthrough for humanity that is this technology, that the opportunity is dwarfed by the importance of this product for mankind. And we all know that. But for people who need an opportunity and want more in life or need more in life, the opportunity is huge. I wanted something that was more than a business. I wanted something, a network marketing company. Again, I didn't think I was going to go back in, but I wanted something that was more than a business. You have a saying in Asea. It's a day when you get into Asea, sign the application, the $40, and you join, you get your product with a money back guarantee, you're testing it on you, other people, whatever it is. Some people start on the business right away. It's the day you get into Asea. Then there is a day, it happens to all of us, and Asea gets into us. Once you realize how important it is, how important of a thing it is that we're doing, and it's an obligation. And if you knew about this product and it was sold at Walmart, you would tell people, run to Walmart and get this stuff. I would tell people about it anyway. I've been doing this now, 3.5 years part-time, 4 years full-time. And I don't feel like I've done a lot of work, but I don't feel like I've worked a day in that, because it's an absolute joy. And I'm finding people that don't know network marketing coming in, and they're lucky as heck, because this is the first one and this will be the last one they ever do. And then I see people who've been through company after company after company after company saying, this is the one. And they come to me and say, you should join me. And I'm like, I am unrecruitable. This is my home forever. And I wish you would look at it. And one by one, they do come look. I just want everybody to know, if they say no, for God's sakes, take the time to investigate it properly, to know what you're saying no to. Because as Mal Sword said, this doesn't come along. I'm 60 this year. Something like this does not come along in most people's lifetimes. A breakthrough health-wise doesn't come through in my lifetime, let alone an opportunity. So my why is that it's much more than a business.
Yeah. You're one of the voices that I heard early on, and many in your professional peer were using a phrase that I've stolen from all of you, that this is the greatest health science breakthrough of our lifetime. I remember hearing that, and I thought, and that's a little pitchy. That's just a little kind of over the top. But as I've come to really know it, it's not a Madison Avenue concocted slogan. It's made by people like you who typically have a white coat on with multiple degrees behind your name, and you're saying it based on your scientific conclusions and in many cases, what you've seen experientially. So it really is a big deal. I mean, Dr. Rich Michael on the medical professional board with you, he takes it a step further. He says, this is probably the greatest medical breakthrough of all time. And again, he what turned his head was what he saw with his grandson, who was at death's door at a major hospital, and he as the physician couldn't help him. And this product brought him back to his health. It's an amazing story.
One thing I just want to mention, whether he says it's a medical breakthrough, it's not a medical breakthrough because it's not a medicine. It's not a drug.
Right. Health breakthrough.
And we didn't really talk about the product, but I just want to make sure that that's known. That this is not a drug. It is. We can't make claims about it. I'm on the medical board of the company. We're very protective and careful of this. This is something that is in all of us. Our cells produced more when we were younger. As we age, we produce less and less and less. So it works completely different than drugs. So when we say it's a health science breakthrough, we can say that, but we don't say medical, that's for sure.
If you're looking at this and you kind of say, well, what's the product they're talking about? Go find the presentation where Dr. David has done recorded versions of that, where he talks about the product side of this, which is kind of really not our focus tonight, but thanks for that clarification. Bart Kotter, let's go to you. How does this connect? You mentioned earlier that you kind of felt like you were home, and I know some of what makes you tick. We have some of the same interests in life, but how does this connect with your why, Bart?
Well, Ed, there's you're right. We do go back, and I'm looking forward. It's about experiencing life and just being able to create the memories and the opportunities, the experiences for sure. And there comes a time in life where at least for Melissa and I know that you were probably in that same place where you got to get it right. We needed to make a decision, to make a move, to do something different, and I needed to get it right. And so that's why I looked at this very, very carefully. And in terms of a why, look, one of my favorite movies of all time is an old classic. It's A Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart. And he got the opportunity to see what life would be like if he was never born. And on that note, I would like to just express a note of gratitude for some of the people that were the early ones here, the pioneers. Pioneers are the ones that get the arrows in their back first. Deni, thank you. Chuck and Tammi, thank you. Bo and Cindy, thank you. You're the ones who really, because most people, I wouldn't look at this unless it was 5 years old, or at least I was really cautious. Well, the truth is I didn't. I was approached and I thought, well, this company hasn't been around long enough. So thank you for your vision. And it's really inspiring to go to an event, whether it's going over to Malaysia or going to, or maybe, when I've gone to Hong Kong or Melbourne or wherever it might be, coming to the States, and I hear people get up and share their story, their product stories, and my gosh, it just brings tears to your eyes. And you think these people would not have even heard about this product if it wasn't for making a decision, for the decision that Deni, that you made, for the decision that you made, Ed, to pick up the phone and call me, for the decision that we made. This is a chance to impact people's lives in a huge, huge way. And why else are we here? We're here to make a difference in the lives of other people. And I found that there's two kinds of pain. There's one that's called physical pain. We all know that. And there's another one that's called financial pain. And I know that there's a lot of people on this call right now who are in financial pain. They're looking for something to make a difference in their own lives, and also to do something where they can really contribute to the lives of other people, do something really meaningful, something that's worthwhile. And Deni, I love what you said about leaving a legacy. This is an opportunity to leave a legacy, to not only make a difference, but we're either growing or we're dying. And which way do you want to go? Truly, the people that you associate with are what makes you. It's who you want to. It's going to be who you become. The things you listen to, the things you read, the people you associate with. And I'll just summarize this by saying that the people who are actively building an Asea business are people who are self-motivated. They're people who are ambitious. They're people who genuinely like to help other people. And they're also the kind of people who want more out of life. And if that's you, I would strongly encourage you to make a decision, make a big decision, and jump in and come play with us.
Fantastic. All right. Bo and Cindy, same thing. How does this connect with what makes you guys tick?
So I'd say the main word is purpose. It just is a purpose-filled mission.
Love that word.
When somebody comes up to you with tears in their eyes and says, where would I be if you hadn't called me? there's a payment in goosebumps and in human connection that's priceless. I mean, it's not, some people are thankful because the product has made a huge difference in their life. Lots of people. Other people, they were financially desperate and they had to have something that was real. And when somebody puts their trust in you with something like that, I mean, there's two most important things in the world, I think, are your health and your finances. Without those two things, life is rough. So, somebody referred to the ethos of Asea, keeping your your principles over your ego and economics. But the third part of that is capacity. And there's something about this business that allows anybody that wants to apply themselves to live to their full capacity. And there's so many endeavors that people take on that really limit who they can become as a person. They can, if they have a 12-ounce capacity, they might live their whole life at a 2-ounce, serving. They haven't really pushed themselves to that 12-ounce limit. So we know that anybody that wants to apply themselves to any degree, there's a place for them in Asea. Some people want to apply 2 ounces. Some people want to apply 4 ounces. Some people want to go the whole way and apply all 12 ounces. But the capacity piece, Asea is big enough to help people live whatever vision they can dream through this vehicle.
Yeah, when we got involved with Asea, we kind of felt as if we were relatively successful at what we were doing outside of the network marketing industry. But what we were doing was actually building other people's dreams and assets, to get back to kind of what Chuck was mentioning. Well, as a matter of fact, we were building other people's dreams and assets, to say the least. And we have to remember, everybody on the line, that if you're not out there building your own dream and assets, someone will definitely hire you to build theirs, right? And so when it comes down to the why factor, really what I'm excited about now, because we have reached certain levels as far as building our own dreams and assets. But right now, what really kicks me off is finding people and helping to empower those people to take control and responsibility of their own health, wellness, and financial dignity. And when I say financial dignity, we're talking about, some people have to dig themselves out of a hole. And it's not about being rich. It's about being confident and living your life to the fullest. Getting to a lifestyle, a point in your life where lifestyle is equal to your efforts.
Yeah,
so
it really is the epitome of what
that means building a legacy as well.
I'm sorry. Say it again, Bo. Say it again. I cut in on you.
No, I just said that means building a legacy as well. It's absolutely all about the legacy.
I was going to say, this really is the epitome of what Zig Ziglar taught us all. You can have anything in this world that you want if you help enough other people get what they want. And it really is servant leadership, and it's empowering. Jerry White, same thing. How does this crank your tractor? Use a country saying. Are you on, Jerry?
There we go.
Okay.
I'm one of those people that was born busy and keep doing it. I'm going to be working. I'm going to be working full out at something. And in this world, there are a lot of things that I've seen that I could do and others are doing that are negative. They're not moving forward. They're not moving in teaching people what happens when people gather and they matter and they have a cause. I have to live for a cause. And this is a cause that catches me on so many different levels, to be big enough to get past me so I can turn around and give to others. So for me, it's all about being cause driven, being able to pass on to others, and that to have people say, you got to come meet the people.
Yeah.
You got to experience what it's like to be around when everybody is working diligently toward better. It's the most amazing feeling of all. Pass it on to you.
Very cool. Mal, I kind of gave a little bit of your why and peeled a little bit for you, but just real quick, we're wrapping it up here. What's the why for you real quick?
I think the why changes. You know, if you said to me when I started with Asea 4 years ago, my why was to make $100 a week. I was $130,000 behind zero. I had to fight just to get back to zero. So, you know, I had no real intention at that point of getting to the rank of triple dipple ambassador. It kind of happened by just chasing. I just wanted to get back to zero. I just wanted to get a life again. And, you know, I wanted to see if I could maybe climb the mountain one more time. Ultimately, I have three passions right now. One is to leave a legacy for my 8 rabbits, big rabbits, little rabbits, to leave something for them. Second thing that's very important for me now is to give back to Virtus the gift that he's been able to share with me and us, all of us really, to be able to give back to him to see this company get to $1 billion. And the third one, of course, is, you know, the work that I adore in Tanzania, and it's just on my heart, you know, with the abundance that I've been blessed with to give back to others who haven't got a chance of being able to improve their lives. So those three things are my drivers today, but they weren't the drivers 4 years ago. The drivers 4 years ago was to make $100 a week. That's where I started. Yeah. But it changes. I guess that's the point. It moves. It's a moving target, and thank goodness it moves, because it keeps us on our toes and keeps us moving somewhere.
It helps you connect with maybe what those drives and purposes are that you've kind of shoved back in the closet because you weren't sure you could ever really achieve them. And this does bring the resources into your world to help you do that. I'm a missionary's kid, but I grew up in that culture and still involved in that kind of work. Rebecca was a nurse more as a calling than just a job. And so I've told her for a long time as we were getting involved, I said, you know what, you're going to be a nurse on a much greater stage, much bigger stage. And I just got to give a plug. You know, she just recorded her talk that she was going to give at the Envision conference that we didn't have. And so if you want to see Rebecca share her passion, you can go to a YouTube channel and you can look it up. It's the company's YouTube channel, and she did a great job. Just got posted there today. But I'm reading a book right now called Lasting Impact, and it's a draft version of a good friend of mine, Chris Widener. And I think it really does kind of describe what we're all talking about. I'm at the age where Virtus was when he launched this company, and this is going to become what creates his lasting impact, and that's what it is. That's certainly what it is for me. We all kind of define that our own way, but you've all expressed it in beautiful ways. And we just want to say, as we wrap this up tonight, if you're looking at this and you're evaluating, you're looking at the network marketing opportunity, I know it can be confusing. I know it can be a bewildering world to even begin to wrap your mind around. And there's so many things out there. There's a lot of glitzy presentations, and I'll be the first to tell you, this isn't a glitzy company. It's a classy company. We do things absolutely first class, but if you're looking for just the glitz and the glamour and the shine and the bling, we're probably not it. We're probably not it. I mean, but if you're looking for a real solid leadership at the corporate level and the field level, listen, these field leaders on this panel here tonight, I would literally trust my life with any of them. I've never been able to say that about a cross-section of hardly any other group I've been a part of. And that includes civic clubs, community organizations, churches, you name it. This is an amazing collection of people. And if there's any way here that it connects with who you feel you are, we would just say, in my terminology, we need some more missionaries. And if you're an instrumentalist, we need some more players. If you're an athlete, we've got all the coaching that you'll take. We just hope that as you evaluate this, that you're going to come to the conclusion that we have, that this indeed is the company that we've always hoped we could find. So thanks to our panelists. We'll put a wrap on it, stop the recording, and look forward to meeting many of you again on the Asea Highway. Take care, and God bless you. All right, panel, thank you very much. The recording's done, but thanks for all your input. What a great group.
Still recording.
Looks like it's still recording, Ed.
Pardon me?
Still
Looks
recording.
like it's still recording.